how he dealt with the fear that was instilled in his heart. Okay, so basically, it's the story of a boy who grew up with the fear of water, and then he got over it. And how he got over it, the act of getting over that fear of the childhood fear, and then being able to use that fear, that the lessons that he learned during those growing years, and using them to further his career and live his life. That is what the story is about. Well, let's give it a good read. William Douglas was born in Maine in Minnesota in US. After graduating with Bachelor's of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years teaching high school in Yakima. Okay, and now all of you can mute yourself actually. Um, Please mute yourself, everyone. Okay, so he spent 2 years in high school in Yakima. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. And then later in his career, he met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale University and became an advisor and friend to the president. Now, Franklin D. Roosevelt was the president of the US, and both of these guys, they became friends. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. So he was the longest serving judge in the US judicial system. Then the following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. So this is the main part. This is the main story that we'll be dealing with. How he fell into a pool, how he drowned in a swimming pool. And this is the theme. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. And then we are also told that we should notice the autobiographical part of the selection and how it is used to support the discussion on fear. Okay, so let's give it a read. These are some of the words you'll come across, like in 11th standard, these words you need to understand. I'll explain them as I come across these words in the text. So it had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. So this is the age around 10 or 11 years when he decided to go how to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima. What was there? A pool in the YMCA. Now Yakima is not only the name of the place, Yakima is also a river. Through that place was a river called the Yakima. The Yakima river was treacherous. Treacherous here means very devious, something dangerous. So mother continually warned against it. The word here used is continually. So there's a difference between continuously and continually. Continually means intermittently, almost at regular intervals, not at a continuously over a stretch. No, after some time it keeps happening and happening, but almost at regular intervals. So what was mother doing? Every time there would be a case of drowning in the river, a swimmer or people or boys drowning in the river, the mother would continue to remind the young William Douglas, that all right, don't go there because the river is a treacherous river. It can simply swallow you up. So it's like, I remember my parents used to discourage us going towards the irrigation canals that we have, the Yamuna Canal that crisscrosses our city, the extremities of a city, another one near Kunjpura, the other near the lake. There are two canals that cross us. So we were continually being warned, and every time someone would, fall into the canal and die, we would be reminded, we would be shared that particular news. So we were continuously being reminded that we need to be very careful and not visit the canals. So similarly, Douglas's mother used to do. So he says, mother continually warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river. But the YMCA pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end. And while it was 9 feet deep at the other, the drop was gradual. I got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. So I'll just explain you what exactly he's talking. Let me see, how can I do this for you? Okay, let's open Paint. I'll share this with you. Okay, so it's like this. Suppose this is the pool. It was 3 to 4 feet at the shallow end, and then it would gradually drop to 9 feet. Okay, so this was the pool, like this. Okay, so this was about 3 feet, and this was about 9 feet. Is this clear to all? When I say, is this clear to all, or I ask you something, you simply raise your arm and yes, so I'll understand. Okay, so this was the condition. So Bhavya, why are you not able to join? Okay, good. So this was the pool. This was the YMCA pool, right? This was the YMCA pool, and so this was 3 feet at one end and 9 feet at the other end. So this boy went there, and how do you rub this? Okay. So, and he was wearing a pair of water wings. Now, what are water wings? Let me just draw these for you. That's the boy's face. Now, William Douglas was a very skinny boy. He was not a very tall boy, a very thick boy or something. A very thin boy. Sorry, एक टांग छोटी कर दी इसकी. All right. And on his arms, he would wear what is called water wings. So if anybody has taken up swimming, water wings is something like this. Color. Okay, I'm drawing the water wings in blue color. They're like this. Okay. And these are water wings, and these are inflatable ones. So the idea is that these would be filled with air, not all of it. This guy remains Let's give him a green t-shirt. Okay, so that's the boy, and these are the water wings. These two blue things on the arms, these are called the water wings. So, okay, so he had water wings. He says he hated to walk. He hated to walk because he felt he was very thin, and then he felt really embarrassed walking all the way to the pool. So whenever he did, he this is the Yakima River map which is given. This is the city called Yakima, and this is the Yakima River that passes through it. So he felt very ashamed walking naked into it. Now, the word naked here doesn't mean he was really naked. The naked simply here means that he would be in his swimming trunks, which would be very skin fitting. And he says, no, I did not like to show my skinny legs. So he was very thin. He was a very thin boy, and he felt as if, it's like a body walking on matchsticks. But he subdued his pride and he did it. So initially, this embarrassment was there that he was very skinny. What would people think about him? And now he got used to it, and he would simply go to the pool. So from the beginning, however, he says he had an aversion for water. I want you to underline, if you have a book with you, I want you to underline this part because this is important. So from the very beginning, however, he says he had an aversion to the water when he was in it. When did this start? This started when he was 3 or 4 years old, and his father had taken him to the beach in California. He had stood together there. They stood together there in the surf. Surf is the foam of the wave which is created when the wave crashes on the beach. So he says, as a very young child, 3 or 4 years old, I hung on to my father, and yet when the waves came, they knocked me down and swept over me. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened. My father laughed, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. So this is an important paragraph. So when you're asked a question, when and how did Douglas develop a aversion to water? This is the answer. Okay, this was the earliest hate that he had for water. This is the earliest when he started disliking being in water. So as a 3 or 4 year, now you can imagine for yourself as a 3-year-old child or a 4-year-old child, you're standing at the beach and you have no idea as to how powerful the waves can be. And even if the wave is not very powerful, when you're standing on the beach, let me just go back to the paint application and then I'll show you there. Just give me a minute. So if we come back here again, so what does it do? Let's say, take up the brushes. Let's get blue water. So how does the wave come? You know, the wave rises like this, falls like this, and then a lot of water simply comes towards the beach. So as the water comes, what happens? As the water comes, it removes the sand from under the feet. It removes the sand. It takes the sand away with it this way. So when the person is standing like this, what happens actually? When the sand starts to move in this direction, right? when the sand starts to move in this direction, and this is the direction of the water, this is the direction of the water, what happens then? What happens is this, just a second, that this thing, how do I rotate this? Oops. Now this guy, it will turn. So this guy basically, he becomes unstable on his feet and he topples over. He topples over, he falls in this direction, in this direction. He falls down. Now as he falls down, the waves, they are continuing to make their onslaught. The waves are continuously coming. So the child very soon becomes buried in water. So that is exactly what happened with Douglas. And this is how he developed a strong fear for water. Aversion means a strong hate, a very strong dislike for water. So many years passed then, and he had nothing to do with water. But when he was 10 and 11 again, he decided to take up how to swim. And in order to learn how to swim, he decided to go to the YMCA pool. Okay. So he says, my introduction to the YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fears. But in a little while, I gathered confidence. So when he gathered some confidence seeing the other children around him, he says, I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. Aping means by copying them. Aping means by copying them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. So he says, I was just beginning to feel a bit comfortable doing this. What was he doing? He was learning how to swim. And just as he was about to, he was feeling easy, some misadventure happened. And what was that misadventure? He says, I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet, the water was still, and the tiled bottom was white and clean as a bathtub. So let's give it a read and then we'll go. I was timid about going in alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. He says, I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser of a boy, a very hatta katta boy, a very strong boy, probably 18 years. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. And he yelled, hi Skinny, how do you like to be ducked? Ducked means go underwater, drown. Like basically like a duck, it goes underwater to catch the fish. So he said, how would you like to be ducked? And he called him Skinny. So certain very specific words being used here. Let's see what exactly happened. Let's go back to our screen share here. And let's remove everything here first. And sorry. Let's delete everything. Let's have a clean slate. And then let's look at the brush. Oil brush. All right. So basically what has happened is that here's this boy. He is at the edge of the pool. Okay. This is the pool. Let's say this is the pool, and it is filled with all this water. Okay. So here he is sitting at the edge of the pool, this little boy, all young and skinny. So here's this boy. He's sitting here at the edge. Something that works. So he's sitting on his haunches. He's sitting like this. Okay. And he is just sitting like this on his haunches and is waiting for others to arrive. So he's sitting and waiting at the edge of the pool. This young boy with his arms folded. So this big boy comes, he picks him up, and like you throw a basketball into the in the basket on the pole, he lifted him up and threw him all the way to the deep end. And what happened is, here landed Douglas in the same sitting position. The poor guy, he could not even move. So he was in a sitting position when he got inside the water, and he fell into it, splash, and he went straight down like a stone. He sank to the bottom of the 9 feet end, the deep end of the pool. Okie dokie. Is this being shared? Brilliant. So I haven't shared this. Okay, so this is what happened, children. Sorry, you must have been able to hear me, but I was busy drawing this. So he was sitting at the edge of the pool all alone. Nobody had come to the pool, and therefore he was too afraid to get into the pool all by himself. So he thought he'd wait out for some people to come, and then he would enter the pool. लेकिन वो साइड में बैठा हुआ था, तो लोग तो नहीं आए जो जिनके साथ वो स्विमिंग करता था. एक बहुत हट्टा कट्टा सा बड़ा सा एक लड़का आया, एंड ही पिक्ड हिम अप. वो ऐसे बैठा था एज पे, उसने उसको उठाया और उससे कहा डुबकी लगाएगा, और उसको उठा के उसने सीधा डीप एंड पे फेंक दिया. ही थ्रू हिम टू द डीप एंड ऑफ द पूल. Okay, so there Douglas landed in a sitting position, and immediately he went down into the pool. He sank right to the bottom like a stone. He went straight down. Now imagine somebody who is used to swimming at 2 to 3 feet end going down the 9 feet end. If anybody of you has been swimming, you can understand how terrible that experience might be. Okay, so this is how far we're going to go in the story today, and we will continue to take up this story tomorrow, right? So basically what we've done is we have completed till here, up to this part. This part. This is what we have completed today. What happened to him thereafter? So he says, with that he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water, and at once I went to the bottom. This is where we have studied. We'll continue from here tomorrow. We're almost out of time.